The surprising performance potential of Volvo engine swaps. From red block to small block, we have some ideas for making your brick sick. Uncommon performance, 1974 to 1993 Volvo 240. The humble Volvo 244, sedan, 242, coupe, and 245, wagon, enjoyed nearly 3 decades of faithful service as the go-to car of choice for college professors, safety-conscious families, and free-thinkers looking to escape Detroit's grasp in an era when European imports were still a mixed bag when it came to quality and reliability. Collectively known as the Volvo 240, the lineup's stodgy, squared-off styling concealed an overbuilt design that still ensures a steady supply of driver-quality 200 series cars decades after the last one left the assembly line. The rear-wheel drive 240 also happened to have evolved into one of the least likely performance platforms out there, with a legion of dedicated owners providing a global support group for anyone who wants to try to squeeze at least a little speed and better handling out of these modestly appointed automobiles. Volvo fans aren't just found in their natural epicenter of Sweden, either. The United States is the next most common country to spot a hopped-up 240 sitting at the autocross or quarter-mile starting line. There are many paths to take on the journey from slowpoke to FTD behind the wheel of a Volvo 240. We dug down into the 3 most common starting points when adding some giddy up to the Volvo SCO. From the factory. Typically, the Volvo 240 isn't much in a straight line right out of the box. The vast majority of 200 series Volvos you'll find lurking on Craigslist are fitted with one of a handful of venerable but meek naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engines. These fuel-injected, low-compression mills hover between 100 and 130 horsepower depending on the model and year. Still, there were a number of factory models available that were quicker than average, and which have become respectable starting points for would-be tuners. Volvo Red Block. If you want to keep things in the family, there are a few Volvo-sourced swaps that are for the most part plug and play. Volvo was the first automaker to bring a turbocharged wagon to the American market, the famed Red Block B21-foot engine, with the mightier B21 ET offered in Europe, and that experiment continued well past the 200 series being put out to pasture, which means that it's relatively easy to source a turbocharged 4-cylinder motor from either a 700 series or 900 series car and make it work in your 240. Forget chasing naturally aspirated power, as your money will go a lot farther in the world of forced induction. Which engine should you target? The B230-foot 2.3-litre Red Block is one of the most popular swaps, with L-block engines produced post-1993 offering thicker cylinder walls and an oil cooling system for the pistons. Truth be told, however, even K-block or early B23 motors outfitted with the intercooler boost system are good for over 160 horses and decent torque in stock trim, although somewhat fragile connecting rods vulnerable to crankshaft flex are something to watch out for, fixed in later models thanks to a 50% thicker design and the relocation of the axial bearing. From the aftermarket. Turn up the boost via a larger turbo, add supporting fuel mods, and ream up the ECU and you are looking at an easy 250 horsepower with solid reliability from a B230 foot, but the first stop on the Volvo aftermarket typically isn't in the engine department. Rather, it's to address to platform's various handling deficiencies. We spoke to Jared Lons at IPD, one of the longest-running, since 1963, Volvo performance operations in the United States, and he told us that the first modification he recommends is a set of larger sway bars front and rear, which won't compromise the ride, but will definitely wake up handling. The stock 240 setup was intended to prioritize comfort over cornering, and Jared also considers a set of lowering springs, usually up to a 35 mm drop, stiffer shock absorbers, and poly bushings all around as a great starting point. As with any car, larger wheels and stickier tires will tie it all together and offer some of the best bang for your buck when it comes to improving the car's reflexes.